Hey, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new here, my name is Maurice Jr. And what we do here at II Cultivate is, I strive to make content that actually change individuals, families, and communities in meaningful and positive ways. Not only that, we cover success stories, we cover financial literacy. But again, the total overall objective of this channel is to help you stay connected to your dreams and goals. Specifically today, we want to cover something where I don't want to call it a financial literacy per se, but I do want to cover a topic that's thrown around a lot, which is centered around generational wealth. You'll see a lot of platforms. You'll see a lot of things on IG. You'll see a lot of things on Twitter. Whatever platform that you're primarily associated with, you'll see a lot of people discuss generational wealth. But what they rarely do is explain the why and the how behind structuring different entities and setting up your LLCs correctly. Not only that, having the corporate structure for your companies. So I guess I'll just say this does not, this is not the know-all or just this is not the, I don't want to come off as being some kind of guru, anything of that nature. I'm only giving you the things that I have done and my wife have set up for us and for our family here. So what I would say is I preference this video by saying, consult your attorney, your financial advisor, your CPA. Shout out my CPA, First Family, Dina Thorpe's. She's in Carolinas now, but shout out to my CPA there. And any individuals that, you have a financial advisor, I will just advise you to, check with them as it relates to, setting up your entities correctly. I guess I'll try to share my screen here and bring up a whiteboard for the visual learners. We have some people here who are visual learners. So let's bring up a whiteboard here. So again, a lot of people say, Maurice, I get several calls like, hey, let me bounce this idea off you, different things of that nature. The last one, shout out to my fraternity brother, my Sans, Ralph Carter. He's doing some amazing things in the Columbus, Ohio area. Good brother doing some amazing things. We had a discussion around his entities of his company. He started a nonprofit for his block and for his community. But he actually has several companies that he's been operating for 10 plus years, especially the finance entertainment. But most importantly, this video, I want to discuss the structure of entities. Okay, so we'll start off by, see if I can write on the screen here. Yeah, that's not gonna work. All right, so we'll start off by structuring your entity. So you want to type box here. So people who are visual learners. All right. For the visual learners, we want to draw a box there. And this here is going to be your living trust. All right. A lot of people say, Maurice, I got a will. I got this. I already got things set up for my family, which is cool, which is fine. You definitely want to have something in place because, we all guaranteed to pay, two things in life, which is taxes and death. All right. And I don't want to give off that type of energy, but this here is a living trust. All right. So you have your living trust. Why do you want to have a living trust? You want to have a living trust because it's added protection from probate. All right. It's added protection from probate. And if you know anything about a will, your attorney drafts that document for you, different things of that nature. Not only that, if something was to happen to you, it's subject to probate. So you'll have to go to court. If you owe someone, if you still have outstanding debt, different things of that nature, creditors will pursue those assets. And the reason why I say that, let's just say, for example, you have several rental properties. You have one in Georgia, you have one in Chicago, you have one in Ohio. So those assets, if you were to put those in your trust, or your will, if you put them in your will, is one thing, but it'd be subject to probate. So you'll have to have a hire attorney for 3 different states to actually make sure it's passed off to whoever that you wanted that asset to go to. So overall, the living trust is the will, but it's just a souped up, I don't want to say souped up. It's pretty much just a will on steroids. Not only that, it protects you from probate. Now, the first step, like I said, the first step in generational wealth, you want to make sure you have some kind of living trust. You want to make sure your assets You know, you want something in place as it relates to your assets being divvied out just in case something happened to you. Now, a lot of people have been starting companies here, and shout out to everybody who started their own business during the pandemic here. I think that's mission critical. For the sake of this example, I probably will just discuss two entities. And when I say two entities, meaning just the two that I actually take care of as it relates to my wife's and I businesses. So we have several businesses. We have three e-commerce, you know, shout out to my wife, Nadia Glam, Nadia Thomas, but she, you know, Nadia Glam, Stand by Glam, different entities that she has going on. But again, for the sake of this one here, we're not going to cover any of our e-commerce and different things of that nature. So one thing about me is, and I didn't discuss, maybe I'll do a video on it. I actually just got dismissed from my Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So if you know anything about a bankruptcy, you know, when people hear bankruptcy, like, oh man, this dude don't know how to manage money. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. But when it comes to a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you know, they don't discharge any of your credit. I mean, not your credit, but any of your debt. You know, you get on a payment plan, and at least for me, I was on a payment plan for 5 years. So I entered that Chapter 13 bankruptcy December 2015. And I actually just finished. So definitely celebrating right now. You just don't understand how free I feel. And the reason why I say that is I just finished November of 2020 here. So I just finished. And you know, going through the discharge, different things of that nature. I'll do a video on that. I'll definitely do a video on that, how it works and what to expect and different things of that nature. But the reason why I you know, bring up that information is because all this I learned being on my Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So anything that I want to do, any endeavor that I was trying to, you know, pursue as it relates to any debt, I actually had to get approval through the courts, you know, through my trustee. So all this stuff is something that I learned on my own as I was just figuring out. You know, I didn't have a coach or a mentor or anything of that nature. Now, as I started to gain more traction in my businesses and different things of that nature, I had to go back and make sure that my entities were structured correctly here. So couple things here. All right. A lot of people are starting LLCs, like I stated before. Those entities are set up in your respective state. I meant, but at the same time, I do not know the abbreviations for. Well, this one's probably MV. All right, so I do not know the I don't know the abbreviations for those states there, but Wyoming, Delaware, and Nevada. All right, those three states give you opportunity to set up businesses to be anonymous. All right. And you're like, nah, Reese, why I want to hide? Why would I want to hide, you know, who I am, different things of that nature? The reason why you want to hide who you are is because you have people out here who prey on people who are very successful. All right. And it's not something that's bad. And again, I'm not trying to give off any bad vibrations. Oh, I can't talk. Or there's no any negative energy, but you have people out there. So I'll give you an example. I'm driving down the street and I see I run into your vehicle. I run into your vehicle, the car is totaled, you have some medical bills that you need to be paid, different things of that nature, you know, we both come out, you know, okay. However, you decides to hire a lawyer. That lawyer goes and say, okay, he was insured, he had this type of assurance, different things of that nature, so we can get this amount. However, attorneys will then take your name and type it in the Secretary of State. Everything is majority public information. They'll type your information in and see like, oh, this guy has a business or he's part of this business. So that actually brings me to the next point here, which is if anybody know, you know, about Inspire to Cultivate. Let's put a number 2 here so you won't be confused. Inspire to Cultivate. And then we got TIG, which is the Thomas Investment Group, but TIG Legacy here. These are our two entities that I'll use for our example today. So again, attorney types in my information, he sees my name, he sees that I am a part of TIG Legacy, and I actually have some more assets here under Aspire to Cultivate, different things of that nature. So the reason why I bring up these three entities, because these three states give you an extra protection, okay? They give you that asset protection overall. You want the asset protection because you want to make sure you're protecting yourself. Again, If you don't have many assets or anything of that nature, this may not be a good time for you. However, I want to plant the seed to have you think about your corporate structure as it relates to your businesses. A lot of people have businesses they started again in 2020. I just want to make sure that you're at least thinking about the next level as it relates to generational wealth. So if I was to give you, back to our example with the attorney, he types in my name. He types in my name. He sees that Maurice is a sole proprietary person here in this company here. And not only that, he actually has earned income from university that I work for. So I work for Western Governors University. So he actually sees that and different things like that. So so that's going to prompt a more a bigger settlement that they would look for, when it comes to suing and different things of that nature. But the structure of these, I purposely structured it in a way where my name is not on documents or anything of that nature. Again, it's not me trying to hide anything of that nature. It's just more so of you structuring yourself and your legacy or preserving your legacy for generational wealth so you can actually start building. TIG Legacy, we have that entity set up as an S Corp. It's taxed as an S Corp. I won't go into the details of, how and what those are, but the S Corp itself is more so of, your shareholders and how you pay yourself and different things of that nature. This here is important because the living trust for me and for Nadia, if something was to happen to us, it's going to, okay, at this age, the kids are going to get this amount. Once they hit this milestone, they're going to get this and different things of that nature, going back to establishing yourself. So like I said, we're discussing the how and why behind different things, so a lot of people talk about it. Let me just give you the visual. Overall, this here is a disregarded entity, okay? So again, this goes back to my Wyoming holding company, all right? This is your holding company. Everybody want a holding company. Not only that, from tax perspective, all the money flows through this Wyoming entity. So when I file taxes, I'm not filing taxes on this one. I'm not filing taxes on Inspire to Cultivate. I'm not filing taxes on our II e-commerce business. I'm not filing taxes on Nadia's Stamp by Glam business, anything in that nature. We just have everything flowing through our Wyoming entity. And the reason why I bring it up is because I want you guys to start thinking about it. Again, I wasn't going to make this video long, so I'm just going to cut it short here in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Your living trust, recap. You want to get your living trust. Your living trust is going to protect you from probate, all right? Protect you from court. Once you set up that living trust, you want to make sure that you have a holding company, all right? A lot of you guys already have your entities that you established through your respective states. However, you want to make sure you get a holding company. Now, specifically, the holding company that I have is through the state of Wyoming. However, Wyoming, Delaware, and Nevada, all three of those provide you with the anonymity. Anonymity. It's hard for me to say that word, crooked tooth. But those three entities or those three states actually provide you with, anonymity. Anonymity. I don't know why I can't say that word, but it provides you with those, with that type of structure there. And, when it comes to your entity and how you actually set it up, again, TIG Legacy is taxed or set up as an S Corp. And then the, Aspire to Cultivate overall, the I2C is a disregarded entity. And I may do a video in the future. So let's just say this. I'll do 3 videos to follow up with this. I'll do the bankruptcy, the Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And over the 5 years, I'll just show the paperwork, because again, it's public records. I'll show the paperwork, how everything worked, how it works when you move and the things, whatever you do, when you sign on the name as a co-signer for different things, you are held liable. I will say that, and I'll digress, but I'll do a video on the Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I'll do a video on this entity here, how I set up the Aspire to Cultivate. I'll do another video on how I set up this one as well, and the entity that I have. The Wyoming here, I'll probably hold off on this because, again, this is going on YouTube or different avenues, Twitter and my TIG, group as well. I'll hold off by naming this and how to set this up here, but it's plenty material on YouTube. But most important, the people that I used to actually do this correctly was Anderson and Anderson, okay? Now, I'm not gonna try to write all this out with this mouse, but this here, I made sure this was structured correctly with Anderson and Anderson. And I want to say this and this. I had both of these set up through them. Now, The reason why I mentioned that is because you want to make sure it's done correctly. You want to make sure that when you're filing taxes and different things of that nature, you want to make sure everything is done correctly. But overall, this here is, a lot of people talk about generational wealth. I want you to start thinking about how you're going to structure your entities and how you're going to divvy things out as it relates to your assets. Again, we purposely have everything set up for us just because, we're not millionaires, but I would say, I don't want to say but because that neglects everything I said before. However, I will say this: 18 to 24 months at the most, I guarantee we'll be multimillionaire, just because the one, how we structuring things, two, being off my bankruptcy, I'm free to actually do other things and take on other endeavors. But long story short, yes, this is going to be, I'm gonna wrap this up here. All right, because I'm talking a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Now, while I'm wrapping this up here, I do want to say, inspire to cultivate. Again, if you like this video, be sure to like it. Comment any questions, any concerns that you may have, anything you've been pondering on over the series that I have, no matter if it's the WGU edition, UCW edition, family edition, or just someone that you want me to, get here on the channel and have an interview with. So if you have anyone that you're, particular about, you can hit me up on any avenue, no matter if it's Facebook, IG, LinkedIn. You can type in the comments on YouTube, whatever it may be. Now, the last thing I want to say is, stay connected to your dreams and goals. That's the most important piece. Stay connected to your dreams and goals. Whatever you do, I know people get busy with life. Maybe I'll have a conversation of how things work with my unique situation. And just having a blended family and different things of that nature. Maybe I'll go into that as well, without getting too personal. But outside of that, stay safe, stay healthy. I see you guys back here on the next video.